independent wrestling fans from all over the United States of America. As the Front Row Fanatics are expanding our operations, Brother Cheech will be heading up to the Northeast soon. Pain Lord and myself will be covering the Southeast, so we're trying to bring you bigger, better, more exciting coverage of independent wrestling all across the United States in our two areas. Now tonight we are going to be doing a review of the U.S.W.A, United States Wrestling Alliance, WrestleBowl 13 that took place, WrestleBowl now, sorry.
Yes, this was a 1 week before the Super Bowl.
Yes, 1 week before the Super Bowl. I'm still excited.
WrestleBowl 13.
Yes. That took place in Jacksonville, Florida on January 26, 2013. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to the most interesting man in the world, Cheech.
Right. They had this venue at the Snyder National Guard Armory in Jacksonville, Florida, and they packed the house. What did you guys say, 300-400?
Let's see, it was about 400 plus.
400 plus easily.
That's awesome. That's great.
We tried to do a head count, and I was losing count after 400.
That's awesome. So they packed it up, promoted it real well. They got some guys over there, Pro Wrestling
Extra,
and they help the independent wrestling over there promote and kind of do what we do and get the word around too. So they got it going on over there. Check them out on Facebook, and they got a YouTube channel as well. They do some pretty interesting stuff.
Well, how do you go to ProWrestlingExtra.com? But this is it like EXT or XTRA.com?
EXTRA is how they spell it on their Facebook page and on their website as well. Pro Wrestling Extra.
Right, if you type it in,
it'll pop right up. They got some pretty good stuff up there. What I like that they do is they'll do little 10-minute question and answers of the independent wrestlers, so you kind of get to know them about where they trained and just some quick question and answers. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty neat. But anyway, they help them guys promote over there, so they do get a packed house. They don't have a lot of independent wrestling in the Jacksonville area. But Jacksonville's pretty big, so when they do have it, people are hungry for it and they want to see it. So that's awesome. I mean, 400 people at an independent wrestling show. I wish we could draw half of that at some of these areas around here. That would make for a great show.
And they draw that every show that they run.
This is our second one in 6 months, and it was packed like that both times.
That's awesome. Now there is another one running over there, but they're having some issues that they're hopefully going to get worked out, which is Pro Wrestling Rage. They run over there as well.
And the promotions are friendly with each other. It's Frank Howell, who is USWA, and Blaine Rage, Pro Wrestling Rage.
Right. So, yeah, hopefully they'll get that worked out, and we can be able to check out one of those as well.
There's no animosity between the two.
It's called cooperation to make a better product. Yeah, there you go. Co-promoted.
But anyway, they start the show out with Mikey versus Johnny Forget About It. Now, Mikey is kind of like a Eugene type gimmick character versus Johnny Forget About It. Mikey actually did get to win over Johnny Forget About It. Pretty much.
Well, Gargoyle hates Mikey. I mean, with a passion. Let me give you a little bit about this match. It was the Power Ranger gimmick.
Dressed as the Red Ranger.
Right. Mikey, he's like a little kid, and for his Christmas wish or something, he wanted to wrestle Power Ranger.
Right.
And so Johnny Forget About It came out dressed as Power Ranger. And Mikey unmasked him, and then he started freaking out like a little kid. And so then they wrestled as Mikey and Johnny Forget About It. In the end, Mikey got the win, right?
Yep.
What are your thoughts? I mean, well, I know what your thoughts are. Johnny Forget About It. He does a great, great Jersey Shore gimmick. You know how the Jersey Shore guys are.
Which is another thing that I can't stand. Jersey Shore. Everybody who was ever on that TV show should be shot and killed, and their ashes burned and scattered in a dumpster somewhere.
If you are a Jersey Shore fan, to me he represents a little bit like the situation, the way he acts.
Another guy who's a worthless walking advertisement for birth control or abortion. Take your pick. The situation, you suck. But anyway, getting back to this match, Johnny Forget About It does a good job as a heel like he's supposed to. Mikey. I cannot stress to you how bad I loathe and despise this gimmick.
And mind you, if you guys have never seen Mikey, everybody in that place, all 400 plus of them, love Mikey, except for one person.
Yeah, he walks by and he's holding out the hands and I'm standing up and I'm in his face, boo, you suck! You suck! And he's just got this like
The kids are mad at him.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get beat up by a pack of kids, but
That's great.
you know, I can't stand this gimmick. I just can't. Here you have a guy of the physical stature of Mikey.
He's a big guy.
He's huge. He's a beast. He actually has some wrestling ability, and I just think he can do so much better with a different gimmick than the Mikey thing. I'm sorry.
Well, I know a little bit about him. I think he travels back and forth between New York and Florida. Doesn't he wrestle up there as well? But if he does,
I believe so.
Is he wrestling as his Mikey character, or is he wrestling as himself? I don't know that.
I don't know and I don't care. All I can tell you is, Mikey, you suck, man. I hate your gimmick. It's not a personal thing, but that gimmick's got to go. As big as you are, with the guns and the chest and the size, you should be in there physically intimidating people, dominating them in the ring and beating the living crap out of people instead of running around in your tidy whitey underoos and your little cape
and there was a little Superman cape with the underwear on the outside.
Oh God!
And they're stained with poop on the outside.
Yeah, he's like a skid mark that Stone Cold used to do on the old show there, you know.
That's great.
Got nothing to say. That match didn't do nothing for me. Bummed me out. Didn't like it, you know. Sorry.
So after that match came up a tag match which had Tim Zbyszko and Rocky Santiago teaming up, going up against Aaron Epic and Sir Ian Shire. Who there's an issue with this match. How'd that go?
Originally scheduled for this match, the advertised card was Tim Zbyszko and Cody Hall versus Sir Ian Shire and somebody else. I'm not sure who that somebody else was, but what we saw was Tim Zbyszko and Rocky Santiago versus Aaron Epic and Sir Ian Shire. Now, before the match started, then the Gargoyle loves this part. So I'll tell you what happened.
Aaron Epic, who is a well-traveled, talented wrestler, not only in the state of Florida, but he travels all over the country. He hollers over there at Zbyszko, you know, hey dude, I thought your tag team partner was supposed to be Cody Hall. Where's he at home? Drunk like his dad?
And he got a huge pop from the crowd.
Definitely got a huge pop from the crowd.
Okay, so they're talking about Scott Hall.
Yes, son of Scott Hall.
Scott Hall's son, Cody Hall. I was excited to see him wrestle. I've never seen Cody Hall wrestle live. But sadly he was not there. But the pairing of Tim Zbyszko and Rocky Santiago was, how should I put this, it was a silver lining because they meshed so well.
I can see that.
In our previous review, in our vintage review, I talked about how good of a face Rocky Santiago is. Tim Zbyszko is equally a great face, and as a tag team, that's one of the best young tag teams I've seen in a while. Watch the match, form your own opinion, but I'm telling you, they worked great together, and like we talked about earlier, good guys are hard to get over. These guys are over.
Definitely well over with the crowd, and Aaron Epic, he was definitely healing it up for the crowd, and basically let Sir Ian Shire take the ass beating, and
oh, I got one thing to say about Tim Zbyszko to our friend Mays on the Gulf Coast. You still have the #1 drop kick, but Tim Zbyszko is getting close, man. He throws a nice drop kick. Am I right?
I'm gonna rate Zbyszko's dropkick better than that.
I don't know.
Watch the video and make the decision for yourself.
We saw it. We saw it at Jack. Well, we saw it at all 3 shows, but when we started talking about it at the Albany show, we'll get to that later. But he's got a good drop kick.
Well, Tim Zbyszko and Rocky Santiago did get the win over Aaron Epic and Sir Ian Shire, which I didn't actually get to watch the full match, but I can just imagine Tim Zbyszko and Rocky Santiago definitely a good team working together. So
I hope they stay together as a tag team. I can't stress enough how over they are, how young they are. They look great. It's everything you want in a good young tag team, to be over like that as they are as faces.
Absolutely. And like you said, Aaron Epic, he puts on a lot of miles on his vehicle and his shoes, because that guy is up in the northern one Friday or something, and then Saturday or Sunday he seems to be back down here. So he puts a lot of miles on, and hopefully I'll get to see him up there somewhere.
I was surprised to see him there. I don't believe he was advertised, but it's always good to see Aaron Epic.
No, pleasant surprise to see him added to the card.
And he was surprised to see us. He gave us a
That's right. The Epic Man knows who the real traveling fans are around here, so.
All right, the third match of the evening, which is something we don't get to see very often, which was a Divas match. Santana Garrett versus Justine Silver, who Santana Garrett is the U.S.W.A. Divas champion. Going up against Justine Silver, she did actually keep the belt in hand. So these girls, was it your typical ladies match at a normal promotion that we're used to, or could these girls go and...
This was our first time seeing Justine Silver. I did a little bit of research on her, and this ain't her first match, but I got the impression that there was a couple blown spots in the match. I got the impression that she could use some more work.
Still green.
Right.
But irregardless, it was still far superior to what you're used to seeing in our area as far as women's wrestling goes. And that's not to be trying to slap, you know, the face of the women wrestlers in our area, because one, you don't have any.
Yeah.
You know, you have very few, and the few that do wrestle sporadically. So, you know, it was a pretty good match for a women's match, and it doesn't matter. Santana Garrett's smoking hot. She's yummy. I love me some Santana Garrett, and she won the match. That's all it is.
Yeah, I can tell you this, for all the horn dogs out there that like watching the Divas, Santana, every time she got put in the move, she was thrusting every body part outward from the ring. You know, if she was being held down, she was pushing out everywhere. And she took lots of pictures after the matches with everybody there and was still thrusting.
And she's very personable after the match. She has no problem taking time to spend with the fans, taking pictures, talking to you. She's appreciative of her fan support. So, you know, don't let our little humorous comments take away from her ability. She has been on TNA before.
Oh, she has? Okay.
You know, she's well traveled too. She's an experienced female professional wrestler, you know, and, you know,
that's good.
Love me some Santana Garrett, what can I say?
Well, that's good. Maybe she needs to come work a SWA show and work with some of the ladies we got around here. And you know, all it does is make them better.
Exactly. You can't get better working the same people over and over and over. Bringing in some fresh female talent can only help and enhance the very small amount of female wrestlers we have around here in the Gulf Coast.
Santana had a great matching theme song. She was using Jason Aldean's She's Country, and them boots she was wearing, it just fit her perfectly. And everybody there liked it.
They weren't as good as those white thigh highs she had at that first Best of the Best show now.
She wasn't using Jason Aldean in them, but she
who cares? Jason who? Jason Homo? Whatever. Get out of here. Country music redneck.
Well, after the Divas match, they had the WrestleBowl elimination match, which was the gimmick match for the event. What they did was they kind of made it a team Baltimore Ravens versus a team of San Francisco 49ers.
Sort of a Royal Rumble
like
type, Survivor Series type. Yeah.
So the first team, which was representing Baltimore Ravens, was Chris Turner, Kid Hollywood, Lance Alate, Hayden Price versus Jake Slater, Slade, Maxwell Chicago, and Kevin Tooley.
And they were representing the 49ers?
Yeah, they were, yeah. And the team of Chris Turner, Kid Hollywood, Lance Alate, and Hayden Price did get the win over Team 49ers. Now, there is a couple names in here that I have seen before on YouTube and in person, but there's a few of them that I haven't. But how did this overall, was this one of those too many guys in the ring, chaos type matches, or was it pretty...
Well, for me, the standouts are Lance Alante, Maxwell Chicago, Hayden Price, but because there's 8 men in the match, you're not getting the full monte between the guys.
Right, because they're not getting enough time because everybody's got to get their time in the ring, you know.
So you're just getting teasers. Maxwell Chicago loved the best, but unfortunately he was like the first one eliminated. This, like Cheech said, this was the Gimmick theme match of the show, and
I believe Hayden Price was the one that won.
Hayden Price won it. You know, this was probably my least favorite match, just only because, you know, I want to see a great wrestling match, and not that it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. It was just the theme of it, and
you can see a lot more. You can see a lot more of their talent shine through when it's a one-on-one or even a tag.
And Hayden Price is the nephew of Pope Elijah Burke.
Yeah.
You can tell physically by his appearance, and you can tell by his skill in the ring too. This is another guy that if you get a chance to see, you won't be disappointed seeing him. Love me some Maxwell Chicago. You need to be on both the Georgia and the Florida Shikara shows. So, Shikara Pro, book Maxwell Chicago.
Absolutely. Now, Slade, who is Slade? Is that somebody that goes around, or is he kind of specific to USWA?
I think this is our first time seeing him. I don't know too much about him.
Okay. All right, so the team representing Baltimore Ravens did win, such as in the Super Bowl itself. So that makes sense, and it was actually before the Super Bowl, a week before. So, but anyhow, the next match pits up Blaine Rage versus Dagan Briggs, who is one half of the Undead, which Blaine Rage did get to win over Dagan, but I bet you this match was pretty good. Blaine's a little bit of a high flyer. I don't know if he showed it in this match, but he's a short, brick shit house kind of a wrestler that...
He looks like Chris Benoit.
A mini Chris Benoit is the best way to say it.
I mean, he's probably been told that 1,000 times because he does look like a miniature Chris Benoit. But, you're right, it was a good match. I can tell these two have worked together plenty because everything that they did was so smooth. I'm assuming they're building a feud here because the match ended in a DQ.
Yes.
I think the match went like about 14 or 15 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. They gave him some time, and they worked good, but there in the end, Dagon went and got a chair and swatted Mini Benoit, Blaine Rage, and that was it.
Yeah, so Blaine Rage did get to win.
There's going to be a rematch. Like I said, I think they're building on this one. It's probably a history and just continuation. You know, it's a way to have a feud.
Yeah.
You know.
Good match between two guys that can work solidly in the ring. The crowd was into it, you know. You had half the people there that were cheering for Blaine Rage, then you had the other half, the psychos like me, that were going for Dagon, because I dig the Dagon of the Undead gimmick, you know. Not only just the gimmick, but he can also wrestle, so I mean...
It's always a good match when you've got two good guys and it's a split down the middle with the fans too, you know. It's different when the whole venue is on one guy and versus, you know, it just makes it more fun.
You can say that Dagon was the bad guy and Blaine Rage was the good guy, but you're right, it was split.
And that makes for a fun match, especially when you've got talent inside the ring. That's awesome. I love that. So the next match after that was our buddy Mike Cruz versus, is it Chasin Rance?
Yeah,
Chasin Rance is the champ. I'm not. What y'all remember? What championship this was?
It's not their main belt. It's their secondary belt. I don't know what they. All you gotta know is it's a secondary belt.
Probably some sort of cruiserweight, maybe. It's Chasin.
Possibly.
Yeah. But anyway, Chasin Rance is the champ, and he retained the belt as well versus Mike Cruz. Could he keep up with Mike Cruz? Is he
he was using some. He was cheating a lot of the match. That's how he won. He had the tights and got a quick 1, 2, 3. He started the match off before the bell even rang, getting the upper hand that way.
Was Mr. B reffing that one?
No, I don't think we saw Mr. B to the best of my knowledge, but you know, Chase and Rance wrestles also a lot in, I believe, pro wrestling. He's well traveled. You know, he's got some experience. He's got some skills. But to me,
I don't think Cruz is on another level.
Yeah, Cruz is to me far superior, and not to mention, Chase and Rance got beat up by a big dyke on a VH1 reality show. I wish I could remember the name. I'm a professional wrestler, and this big dyke chick got up there and choked his ass out right there, and, you know, set him packing. So, Chase and Rance, you suck. You cheated to beat Mike Cruz. End of story.
He's just jealous because you're with Santana.
Why are you with him? He's not worthy of carrying your bag, Santana.
I think he does.
Probably so.
That may be.
But, you know, Cruz got ripped off, you know.
Jason did his job of playing the heel in this match.
Right, you know, don't get me wrong, I'll give Chase and Rance, I'll give him some hell and all this stuff, but the guy does have ability, he plays a good heel.
Right,
but, you know,
remember, Frank Powell's not stupid, he ain't gonna put the gun on the guy if he wasn't worth it.
No, absolutely, but technically, to me, he can't keep up with Mike Cruz.
As fans, we just hate this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he likes us to hate him, so good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hear you.
Well, following that match was the tag championship match, which was the Circle of Disrespect, which was Simon Says and the King of Florida, Francisco Chiazzo, versus Los Bendejos. I bet you this was
Or Team Lucha, as they are known, depending on where you're booked.
Which was Jay Rios and Jay Cruz, yeah.
Who and these guys, at least 3 out of the 4 were in the vintage tables, ladders, and chairs match the week before.
Yes,
so
yep.
you know they still had to be suffering the physical effects from that match. And once again, you look at Los Bendejos, 2 guys, they've been on TNA multiple times, small guys, you know, but talented. You know, the Circle of Disrespect, you're talking about my boy Simon and the King of Florida, Francisco Chiazzo. You know, love them, love the evilness that they were displaying. You know, the crowd was hating them, except for people like me, you know. So, I enjoyed the hell out of the match. The Circle of Disrespect retained the belts, I believe.
Yep.
You know, good stuff.
This was a match where I was focusing a lot on Francisco, and I developed a man crush. Not that I didn't already have one, but on Francisco. He is so crisp like bacon in the ring. He was just mesmerizing me. And he's always showed it, but in this match, I was really seeing it.
Is this kind of like that man crush you and Internet used to have on Luke B there for a while, man? Got that little B crush going on now.
But how did they win that? The Circle of Disrespect, or the bad guy tag team, the heels. They oh, that's right. While the ref had his back turned, Francisco pulled the brass knuckles out. Wow! The leader guy and Simon, because the good guys, the team Lucha, they were double teaming Simon, and Francisco popped him one, and Simon got the pin.
He wouldn't do that. He's lying.
And then after the match, sadly I did not record this, but Simon and Francisco put one of the best post-match heel promos I've ever heard. It was the shit. I wish ProWrestlingExtra.com taped it. I hope they release it, because that was a badass promo.
Well,
absolutely.
I love these guys together. I don't care if they're wrestling together or if they're managing in one another's corner while one is doing singles or not. These guys are great together. I like cheering them and I like booing them, depending on where we're at, what the crowd's doing. I like seeing these guys together. Yeah. They're just lots of enjoyment for me as well. And of course, Los Bendejos too. These guys are just as great.
Absolutely.
You know, they non-stop action, and they're the size that can go, and just keep doing it for you. So
I made it a point to buy me an 8x10 autographed poster of Francisco that night.
I bought one of him and of Simon Says that night.
Yeah, where's your Simon shirt at?
I wore it earlier.
That was last week when we did the other review.
Yeah.
I'm still wearing the same shit.
Yeah, but just in laundry, man. Yeah. Living in the dumpster, baby. What's up with that?
Excuse me.
Alright.
So after the tag match, it was Wardell Walker versus Jesse Neal. Jesse Neal did get to win on this match, but actually no, that's not the one that was the surprise. The main event was the surprise.
Right.
But anyhow, I would have liked to have seen this match because I've been wanting to see Jesse Neal, and I can watch Wardell Walker any day of the week, anytime. So I really saddened that I actually missed this match here. So.
This was the co-main event, the last match. The crowd was heavily into this match.
Oh, I bet.
Wardell played the bad guy. I don't remember the ending. I'm sure Jesse Neal won.
Yeah.
It was what you would expect. I mean, come on, it's Wardell Walker and then Jesse Neal.
Yeah.
You know. Sadly, I don't remember all the details on it. This was a good show here, and I'm just.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen this match right here. I've been wanting to see Jesse Neal for quite a while. I've seen him on TV, of course, but I've never seen him at an indie show in person, and I've been wanting to see him. And like I said, Wardell Walker, I can watch any day of the week.
Two pro wrestlers, physical powerhouses that got out there and beat the crap out of each other, and the crowd was worked into a frenzy for this match because Jesse is obviously a hometown favorite there. You know, even if Wardell would have not been playing the heel there, Jesse still would have had the crowd over with him. But an awesome match, nonetheless. Jesse got the Duke, you know, so what can you say?
Another job well done, Wardell, Jesse Neal. Which brings us up to the main event of the evening, which was...
Now, it should have been, you remember, John Davis should have been defending his title against. It was. I think it was going to be against Corey Chavis or
it was Johnny Armani.
Yeah, it was originally supposed to be John Davis defending against Johnny Armani.
Match, okay.
But
in a singles match.
He did make his plane from a Dragon Gate USA show
In California.
Yeah, in California.
So they had to switch it up here with some swift, clever booking, by the way.
Right. Good job by Frank Howell there.
So it ended up being, a four-way #1 contendership match?
Well, yeah, they stuck 4 guys in there. And
but you didn't know there was 4 guys at the beginning. It started out as a 3-way between Corey Chavis, John Davis's partner in the Dark City Fight Club, Johnny Armani, and Kyle Blizzard. But then all of a sudden, who pops out? New TNA superstar, gut check winner, Sam Shaw.
Jacksonville's own
Sam Shaw. And he's like, hey, look here. You know,
I ain't got nothing to do tonight.
Not only that is I never lost my belt. They took it from me when I got my TNA contract, so he inserted himself into the match.
Right. That's still playing in their storylines.
Right. Yeah. To make it a fatal 4-way match for a #1 contendership to wrestle John Davis at the next U.S.
So here's what
he actually did win that too, so he's got the contendership. So
during the beginning of the match, we was really getting into this. Mind you, it was Corey Chavis, Johnny Armani, Kyle Blizzard, and Sam Shaw. The winner has to face John Davis at the next show. Corey Chavis is in this match. We're thinking, okay, we're going to see Corey Chavis win this match and go up against his partner.
Right.
But he was the first one eliminated. So then it was like, now it's down to Johnny Armani, Kyle Blizzard, and Sam Shaw. The next guy eliminated, I believe it was Kyle Blizzard.
Right.
And then that leaves you Johnny Armani and Sam Shaw. Johnny Armani had a manager out there with him. Sadly, I don't remember the guy's name. So they worked in a little heel tactics there. Right. But the superstar that Sam Shaw is prevailed and won the match.
So he gets the contendership for the title, which he technically never did lose.
Now, think about that. A match between Sam Shaw and John Davis. That's going to be awesome.
I hear you. You can't ask for, you know.
I mean, we were wanting Corey Chavis, but Equally is better, if not good, if not better.
Right. You hate to see partners that, you know, NWA Tag Team Champions and Dark City Fight Club fighting against each other.
Yeah.
So you're not going to lose having John Davis and Sam Shaw wrestle each other for
No,
this belt.
absolutely not. It
So.
ended up being probably maybe even better for the card for the following show or whenever that's going to take place. So.
Something we failed to mention is, now this was a WrestleBowl 13, that was the theme of the show, and they had a theme match. But also, they had former Jacksonville Jaguar,
John Henderson.
John Henderson was there. John Henderson has recently opened a new chain of restaurants in Jacksonville. They're called, it's a chicken restaurant.
Was it
Fast food chicken.
It wasn't Wolfie D's, was it?
You can go there and get wings.
Right.
I don't remember the name of it. That sucks.
No, Wolfie D's, that was when in Sanford.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's opened up a chain of restaurants there in Jacksonville with some good quality food. And
they did a little spot in the night where Shooter Storm came out there, and Shooter Storm, all 5'5" of him, was going to kick 6'8" John Henderson's ass, and he tried. But John Henderson had his chicken mascot with him.
Oh man!
This guy dressed up as a chicken, and so they had a short mini match with the chicken versus Shooter Storm, and the chicken won. And that was
sad day for Shooter.
yeah, Shooter gave it his all, but he just couldn't beat the chicken. But, that was it for that show. We want to go over. You want to go over our
You runner up and.
the match of the night and runner up for this show. Go ahead and pick your two.
Okay, let's see. Let me.
Cheech, did you watch the matches after? Maybe you can just pick one you like.
Okay.
Well, for me, I'm going to go for match of the night. I'm going to go for Circle of Disrespect versus Lost Mendejos in the tag match. And then for my runner-up, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go for the main event with the four-way.
That's exactly what I was going to do too.
Okay.
Save Shaw for a second.
I was going to pick the Circle of Disrespect, the tag match. That's my match of the night. My runner-up match, I kind of had a tie. I really liked the Tim Zabisco and Rocky Santiago pairing, and the Jesse Neal and Bordell Walker match. It's like a co-runner-up.
Once again, you can't lose there either,
Yeah.
you know, so.
And, I mean, it was hard, to watch that Santana match. It was.
No, it wasn't.
It was hard.
It's never hard to watch Santana.
But she was thrusting like that the whole match.
Some things were hard, but it wasn't hard to watch the match.
So, there we have it. Their next show, do you know when their next show is?
No, I just saw something recently being posted. Hopefully we'll have some more information for the next USWA show. But, you know, USWA, Frank Howell, the good people there, once again, they treated us like royalty. You know, made us feel welcome, let us feel, you know, the Armory is an excellent building for filming. They draw a 400+ crowd every time. Good food, good talent. Once again, I urge Gulf Coast fans, get out of your
That's a quick drive. It's an easy drive.
Get out of your little box. Get out of the little box. Go see something different for a change, you know? You know,
we drove there. We left at like 11 a.m. in the morning, and we was there like an hour and a half before the showtime. We got there like an hour before the doors opened.
Right.
As soon as the show was over, we came home and we was home like 3 a.m. I mean, we did as fans.
Right.
Other fans can do it. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
You know, if you love wrestling and you want to change of pace, you know, step outside the box. Plan a little road trip. Like you say, we hear all these people make these excuses, we can't afford it, blah, blah, blah. I call bullshit card. If you get 4 people together and you pool your money, you can pile in a car, you can spend the money for gas, you can go see some quality wrestling. If you want, you can get a cheap motel somewhere, spend the night, drive home on Sunday, or you do like we did and you ride home the next day and then you sleep all day Sunday. USWA is well worth the drive. It's a good building, good talent, good crowd. They have good gimmick tables there selling stuff, you know.
So it's a big, spacious building. Just when you walk into it, it's you can just see that it's going to get packed.
Once again, like Vintage, it's a professionally ran promotion, you know. So I highly recommend U.S.W.A. People, get off your ass and go out there and travel a little bit.
Yeah. I like being at this show because they pack the house. I like being part of a show where there's a lot of people there. We start to get out to a lot of them now, and this one, I'm not going to say this is the best show, but this is one of the most attendance.
Right. As far as filling the building, they fill the building.
Right. And that means Frank Howell and the rest of his team is doing a damn good job.
They're promoting.
Exactly.
Other people could learn from him.
Right, which is what you're supposed to do. If you want to draw a crowd, you got to promote. You got to get sponsors. You got to have good talent. You know, U.S.W.A. has it all. Just like Vintage, they do a good job promoting their shows. Their roster is solid. They got a good building. You know, what can you say? So, I mean, Frank Howell, everybody there at U.S.W.A., once again, thanks for making us feel welcome. You know, they hooked us up just like Vintage with front row seats. They let us film. They gave us access to wherever we wanted to go, made us feel welcome, and it was well worth the drive.
And also, don't forget to check out ProWrestlingExtra.com. It's like their version, not really like the Front Row Fanatics, but they're a group of guys that help promote indie wrestling over there. And like we talked about, they do little shoot interviews, and they do everything they can to promote. Check them out, ProWrestlingExtra.com.
And you can also check out USWA's Facebook page for more information for their next show. And with that being said, we'll see you in the front row.